KRON 4's Gail Ong is live in Lake County tonight, where some people are being allowed to return home. Gail, it must be such a relief.
Absolutely, Grant. I'm in Upper Lake. This is one of the longest towns that had mandatory evacuation orders. Residents returned home after being away for 10 days. Now, I'm in front of a grocery store. That's just about the only business open at this time in the downtown area. But we do have video of the damage the ranch fire has done. If you just take a look, this is on Elk Mountain Road in Upper Lake. You can just see a lot of mangled metal, crushed garages, even a tire that's blown out from a truck. And you can just also see, if you're looking at the video, you can just see what's left are some barbecue grills and what looks like a swing set, just some metal parts of the swing set still standing. So this is just one of the properties that was damaged in this devastating fire. And this road is actually closed off by CHP. I was told residents are not allowed to go back in that area where most of the damage was here in Upper Lake. Now here's what some residents had to say who are still reeling from the chaos 2 weeks ago.
When I was younger, I used to surf 29-foot waves. So fire and a big wave is the same thing. Get out of the way.
Feel bad for everybody. Lost their homes and personal property. Not a good thing.
Now, Lake County has been updating residents on what the situation is. They've been holding virtual meetings via Facebook Live on their Facebook page. They've been, the last one was at 6 o'clock, and all the department heads of the counties were there, CAL FIRE, law enforcement, health, school officials, and air quality control. They were all there just updating residents on what they can expect. Now, there's some counties nearby like Colusa and Mendocino and Lake County, some parts they are still under mandatory evacuation orders, so they won't be able to return home in a few days. But we will have much more with the latest figures coming up on KRON 4 News at 10. We're live in Upper Lake. Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
All right, Gail. Well, let's go live to the scene where KRON 4's Gail Ong is standing by in Vacaville with the very latest. Gail.
Pam and Ken, the challenge with this fire is the dry grass and the winds. And as you mentioned, one structure has been destroyed, and you can just take a look at this video. You can just see the flames are so close to homes. Now, CAL FIRE cannot confirm yet if it is a home that was destroyed or what type of structure that was, but you can just see in the video all the flames on the dry brush. That's been very challenging to fight this fire. Also on the roads, viewers sent us video of the heavy smoke covering the sky. You could just see the cars driving by it at the street lights. This all started on Nelson Road just before 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's been spreading fast. It's been spreading east over to Paradise Valley neighborhood. That's where the sheriff's office, Fairfield Sheriff, has prompted many evacuations over there. We spoke to a resident earlier who was driving home from work. He had to be evacuated right away. But here is the latest update from CAL FIRE.
The fire started this afternoon and quickly grew, mainly because of a couple of factors. Really dry brush and grass out here, and a little bit of wind on it. And there was an aggressive firefight from the ground and the air. A large air tanker was used, multiple smaller air tankers, as well as 3 helicopters.
Now I'm here in Vacaville, right off of I-80, where there are some flames burning on the side of the highway, but right now it's an empty field. So there are crews there, of course, monitoring that, but the priority are the structures. And right now, as you mentioned, about 1,000 acres, 10% contained, but no reported injuries. Ken and Pam.
All right, Gail, thank you for that. On the
New at 10, the number of people in California who can afford to buy a home continues to fall. According to California's Association of Realtors, high home prices and rising interest rates are to blame.
KRON 4's Gail Ong explains new data reveals only 1 in 5 people can afford a home in the Bay Area right now. She joins us live from Union City with more on this. Gail.
Pam and Ken, these findings are in the first and second quarters of the year. One realtor we spoke with today says affordability has a lot to do with supply and demand. And right now, it's a seller's market in the East Bay. A study by the California's Association of Realtors says the state is showing home affordability rates down to a 10-year low. The reason? High home prices and rising interest rates, even in counties like Contra Costa and Alameda, where home buyers typically think they can get a deal.
Our biggest problem is we just don't have enough housing, and people can't afford to buy homes at this price.
Realtor Glenn Bell with Better Homes and Gardens says it may take decades to having enough houses at affordable prices. He listed this 3-bedroom in Richmond View at $629,000, but predicts this will sit on the market for 45 days.
Affordability also has to do with how much inventory we've got on the market at any given time. But prices have been going up for the last 5 or 6 years, so this is not something that happened overnight.
But there are undiscovered areas where Century 21 realtor Janella Anguiano says you can get a deal. In the heart of Castro Valley, this 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath is listed at $769,000. Just 3 weeks ago, a house across the street with 2 bedrooms, smaller in square footage, just sold for $11,000 more.
I want to get people in the door. I don't want to be priced at that price where people go, oh, we have to overbid that. And then that's what's causing the overbid and the overbid, or pricing it too high to start with and then having to reduce it.
Anguiano says the East Bay Area housing market is good for sellers, and the interest rates are apparently at a historic low.
You know, I try to cue my sellers up to pricing their home lower than the neighborhood sales. Because when you price your home at the last sale, that's what that buyer was willing to pay for that home. And that's why we're starting to see little price reductions here and there, because they're starting it at where the last home sold for.
She has about 40 interested buyers as we speak and expecting an offer by Monday. And also other areas to look into that are undiscovered in the East Bay, Livermore, Hayward, and some parts of Oakland, where you can get more square footage for your buck. Live in Union City, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Thanks, Gail.
New tonight at 8, Ku Klux Klan flyers have shown up in at least one Solano County neighborhood.
That's the flyer, and people found these KKK recruitment flyers littered about their driveways. KRON 4's Gail Ong is live now in Suisun City with this story. Hey, Gail.
Justine and JR, I'm here in one of the neighborhoods, so it's actually one of 2 neighborhoods that found those flyers. And to make things more unusual, they were packaged in a plastic bag full of raw rice. The Ku Klux Klan recruitment flyers were left on driveways here in Suisun City. A very bizarre discovery in a racially mixed neighborhood.
I'm shocked. We've been here now for 7 years, and we haven't had anything like this happen at all.
I was really surprised that something like this happened here.
Residents say they saw a truck pass through Friday night. The flyers showed up in plastic bags filled with rice, urging people to call a number in North Carolina.
People don't take that as fun and games. It's crazy.
And among those who received the message, Kyle Italic's family.
Well, I know they're probably afraid to come outside now, or just in general, but I think that just kind of has to stop.
It also made its way through the mayor's neighborhood.
We cannot tolerate this kind of behavior, whether it's a big joke, and I hope it's just a big joke if somebody crazy enough to have their 15 seconds of fame thinking that they can rattle the neighborhood, but that's not what this city is all about.
Suisun police say there is no evidence of any specific crime related to the flyers and calls them disappointing and unnecessary.
I'm hoping that this will stop, that this is going to be the only incident.
Police believe whoever left the flyers was passing through, and the detective on this case insists there is no local Klan activity in this town. We're live in Suisun City. Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Thank you so much, Gail, for this.
To a construction tragedy in San Francisco where a worker died after a steel beam hit him while he was working on the Twin Peaks tunnel renovation project.
KRON 4's Gail Ong is live where this happened this evening. Gail, what can you tell us about this accident tonight?
Well, it happened inside the tunnel at this construction site near Ulloa Street, right behind me in this West Portal neighborhood. And you can still see the caution tape here as investigators try and figure out how this deadly accident occurred.
Sad, very sad.
West Portal residents are finding out about the tragic construction accident Friday afternoon. A worker was killed after he was hit by a steel beam while working in the Twin Peaks tunnel.
Some customers saying the worker got into accident, so carried to the hospital.
Neighbors say they saw many construction workers outside of the tunnel, followed by ambulance rushing to the scene.
I saw fire truck show up, and then later on they sealed the blocked the whole block around here, and then fire ambulance show up, and later on they carry somebody.
Gloria Bogdanoff was having coffee near the site when it happened.
It was probably about 4:30 when another friend arrived, and she sat with us and she said, you know, something might have happened at the tunnel because there are a number of policemen there and people are walking fast.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed confirms a signal technician was killed. The city's municipal transportation agency was replacing tracks and drainage systems in the tunnel, which connects the West Portal neighborhood to downtown San Francisco.
My husband was saying, what happened? Where are the workers? So we were wondering because we see them every day and they work day and night.
OSHA and other safety officials began their investigation looking for a cause. They have not released the identity of the worker. The technician who died worked for a construction company in Oakland. In the meantime, Muni did stop work on the tunnel project, but work will resume tonight at 10. Live in San Francisco, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Thank you so much, Gail.